What's up, my precious little pack, and welcome back to VEGA Conflict. So, I'm currently doing one of the supply runs. I already bought everything in the plant strike, and I already have my fitting for impulse beam based builds. The first of which will involve the Nighthawk frigate, which is actually the real tier 3, the first tier 3 you're ever going to get that you research and build, and it's got a very low build time. And what I'm doing is I'm using my higher level fleets to just farm as many of the boxes as I can. I don't care much how much damage they take, because I'm just going to let them repair anyways, so. Right now what I'm doing is I'm setting up all of the attacks and letting them run. Because I am going to set up the fitting and I'll show it all to you. The first I'm going after will be destroyer boxes, because they're the ones that are up right now. Next will be the frigates. They're going to be Nighthawk. And something I realized, there are certain tier 4 and tier 5 ships that are cruiser class that have a longer base build time than the Punisher and the other ones at 5 days. I never realized it until I was looking at the build times of them. And that was just insulting, to say the least. But the general idea is Impulse Beam 3 by 3 on a Mark IV Trident cruiser with maximum boosted range, stuff like that, just for high damage output at a long range, as a support vessel, not a direct fight vessel, which will in turn reduce the potential damage you can take because it is a lighter ship, but it can still do massive damage against the targets of its tier. And since they're not doing the boost damage against aliens and stuff like that, you can't expect much from that. You can't expect to do 100% increased damage versus aliens, because they did away with that when they did away with the standard ship classes. And what I mean is, in general, we have a few things. First off, as I mark upgrade these ships, they'll gain bonuses against other classes of ships. In the case of the cruiser, it gets increased damage versus frigates and cutters. Frigates gain increase versus battleships, and destroyers get an increase against what? Cruisers. Yeah, cruisers is for destroyers. And it's just in generally a fairly decent build and everything like that, but everything I've been watching lately has all been focused towards upgrading. Everything I've been thinking of is meant for low tier people to be able to advance into higher tier tech. But to get to the higher tier tech, you have to be able to stand on some mid ground. So tier 3, which is where build times are low, but the damage can be high if you get the fitting right, but balancing armor and health against higher tier targets isn't as interesting, so keep the repair times low, everybody. And that aside, I found another use for another item in here. What was it? I think it was the Bomber Squadron. No, it wasn't. It was the Nova Ray for the actual large ships and stuff like that. As we get the Nova Ray, I don't even have any of the Nova Ray, so I have no idea exactly what its general use or purpose is in the game. So I can't say much about it because I don't know that much about it in the first place. But that aside, the general fitting for the frigates will be 3 impulse beams by level 2, of course, backed up by range and all of that, and then armor and balance and stuff like that. And to help maximize their armor, or in this case the cargo capacity, you can either change a few things around and put the reinforced cargo hold, or you just put normal cargo, just boost it a little bit more. But I've also been looking at a few separate fittings for the destroyers, and I looked at all the higher tier ships and the build time just jumps up. I think tier 3 is the perfect tier for lower build times, because the maximum I can get a build time to go on a tier is the tier 3 is the Valhalla carrier at 11 days. It's as high as I can get to go, fitting with the best stuff it can have. Actually, no, it wasn't even 11 days. It was 8 days and something hours. But none of us are going to be using that one just because of its lack of the agility support field, to say the least. And the general purpose of what I'm doing here is literally, as I said, to hunt these ships down so that I can actually... Okay, why did... Well, you get that one then. That was a misclick if I've ever seen one. But the general point of this is use lower tier ships as often as possible. And what I'm doing is I'm balancing it out so I can test out the stuff. I'm building 1 or 2 new ships a month, which is about 18 days. And then I'm building 4 or 5, possibly even 6, or in the case with Nighthawk Frigate, I'm going to build an entire fleet of them over the course of less than 10 days. The point is to build some new tech so I can continue advancing, but also build lower tech to start testing and playing with it to see what works in the lower tier to help you guys advance more quickly. But I just wanted to point that out, and that's going to be it for this video, everybody. If you have anything to say about anything that I have said, say so below in the comments. If you liked the video, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps. And as always, I'll see you later.